Yo, what's up, you guys? It's your boy, Minhei. And what we're going to be talking about today is how porn has affected me and how I almost thought I was a pedophile. And basically, we're going to go into the root psychology of why that belief stemmed. The main reason as to why I'm making this video is because there are people that have been victims of child molestation. And to see how it's affected them really inspired me to share my personal experiences with it. And I believe that as I go deeper into my personal experiences, that is where truth lies. And as I go deeper into my personal experiences and I examine truth, and I see the truth of my personal experiences, I believe that could be healing for people. I believe that could really shift people's perspectives. I believe it's very powerful to be able to speak your truth and to have complete faith in your truth, because, you know, videos like this, you're going to be perceived differently. You're going to be perceived in a particular way, or you feel like you're going to be perceived in a particular way, right? And to have faith to say what is needed to be said in order for us to recognize that we're all struggling, and how this anyways, I'm just gonna go straight to it. So I used to be frustrated that I haven't gotten laid. That was my number one frustration, that I wasn't getting laid, I wasn't having sex, I was still a virgin. That was my number one frustration. And because that was my number one frustration, I resorted to going up to a lot of people and potentially harassing people, and being inconsiderate about how people felt, and made sure everything that I said was manipulated and maneuvered in a way where it aligned towards sex, right? And these are like subtleties, right? Like I can say it in a way where it's confident and smooth, right? But there's always that underlying intention of sex, right? So anyways, because I had this frustration, I resorted to that. Never worked, right? And I also resorted to pornography, right? And every time I would be watching porn, I wanted to imagine that I had a partner there. I wanted to imagine that I had a person there, you know? So literally, I think for 2-3 years, maybe 4 years straight, every single day I would watch porn, or every single day I would make sure I jerked off to something, right? And You're watching porn because I'm believing that when it came time to the actual experience, when it came time to actually me experiencing someone sexually, that I will be somewhat educated, right? Now, how did I go into these avenues? How did I go into this stuff? I had parents that never really taught me anything. They provided for me. They basically allowed me to continue living on. They've uh, did the basic check marks, but I never really had a real education from my parents. And education system uh, doesn't really provide tools like this. And that's not to condemn them. That's not to be like, whatever. Hey, it's part of life. It's part of my personal experiences. It's part of me living in 2018 and being born here, right? So there are going to be struggles that I'm going to go along the way, right? So I'm watching porn every day. And when you're jerking off, you're thinking about the girls that you've talked to. You're thinking about that. You're thinking about the different positions that they're in, right? So as you're in that state of lust, in the process of jerking off, you're imagining these imaginary women that you're romanticizing or you're visualizing inside of your head in a particular position on your body. And as I'm imagining that, that is giving me a sense of stimulus in my body, right? So I'm imagining that. And as I would be imagining that, that would be my pattern. That would be my day-to-day behaviors, right? Every single day in secret. My parents not knowing, right? That would be completely secret. No one knew, right? So that would be my day-to-day behaviors. And what would happen is that there would be some concepts that I'll get, right? Concepts that I'll get from the pickup industry, right? Not to blame them, right? But concepts that I'll get be man to woman, show sexual intent, right? So I'm thinking to myself, all my sexual experiences, right, is from pornography, right? So I'm going to be showing sexual intent, right? So if all my sexual experiences are from pornography and I'm being told, be man to woman, show sexual intent, I'm going to get a particular energy of lust, right? I'm going to try to look at women in a particular way, right? So when I would be interacting with women or I would be interacting with people, right? What will happen is that I will use pornography as a means of my personal experiences of what sex is, and use this concept of being man to woman and showing sexual intent, and use all that personal experience from pornography and almost project that onto women. So I'll be looking at women in a particular way. I'll be trained to almost objectify them in order, and me thinking that was gonna get my game better. I literally thought that like me having more sexual intent because I was so frustrated that I wasn't gonna get laid. I thought that if I had more intent, basically use all that, like that lustful energy that I would have jerking off and then transfer that onto another person, I thought that was gonna progress me in getting laid, right? And I remember there was an experience at a mall, and then there would be moments where I'd get like really turned on when I'm around a girl, when our bodies would be touching, right? And I thought that was game. I thought that was a means to... I thought it was game. I thought I was getting brownie points because my game got better because I felt horny around a girl. I thought that was game, right? So because I thought that was game, because I thought that should be a rewarded behavior, I tried to maneuver and elicit that behavior with women as much as possible, right? And then I became a little bit trained, I sensed little like rejections here and there. And because I became trained a little bit, I saw this nuance and saw this nuance. So my behaviors, I tried to almost elicit that behavior in a manner that didn't really create conflict in a way, right? Or at least I tried, right? Girls are very perceptive. They can still see little nuances that you do, right? So I'm not saying they're stupid, but that's what I was trying to do. I became almost it's just something, yeah. And so yeah, now what's happening is that I'm basically it's almost like thinking, all right, I watch all this porn. Now I'm gonna go up to a girl. I'm just gonna imagine that she's like this naked woman or naked girl or something, and I'm trying to get turned on by this person. And as I'm practicing this skill set, right? It didn't just proliferate into girls. It started proliferating into guys. And I'm not saying I was gay. It was weird because there was a discrepancy, because I knew deep down I was straight. I knew that deep down, right? But it was weird because this energy of me projecting like lust and objectification, like the projection of objectification. I think that's the best thing to call it, right? This idea of man to woman, this idea of showing sexual intent, that was an idea that was misskewed for the projection of objectification. Okay? That's what I will call it, right? And as I trained myself to project objectification to women, this behavior started proliferating throughout other people, throughout men, right? And because it's just like fear, right? When you have a ton of fear, right? When you have fear in one area, when you have fear in one dominant area, that fear will start proliferating throughout other areas of your life. So it started proliferating throughout men. And I remember just playing with these kids one time, and I was playing with them, it's all good, it's just fun, it's whatever, right? I'm in the most purest intention in the world, right? I have the purest intent, okay? And I'm just playing with these kids. I want them to have fun. I want them to enjoy life. That's what you want to do for kids. You want to nurture for them. You want to care for them, right? The purest of purest intent, right? And as I'm playing with them, one of the kids as we're play fighting, they start getting into a position that would directly directly related with my experiences with porn. As we were play fighting, they got into a position where it resembled what I visualized in porn, right? So it is now, instead of my hand and visualizing, because I'm just so frustrated that I haven't getting laid, instead of my hand and then my visualization of whatever is creating that dopamine experience, now there's a body that can create that experience for me, in a sense. Now, this does not mean I did anything. Does not mean that. What it means is that there was a thought of that, and I was rational enough to be like, oh my gosh, that's not good. That's not okay, right? And then I separated myself, and then I tried to be like nothing happened. Like nothing happened. So I didn't do anything. Thank goodness. Thank God I had enough rationality to not do anything. And after that one behavior, and I remember getting slightly turned on. And I was like, what the heck? What's wrong with me? I don't understand, right? So I'd tell some of my friends about this. And they said, it's just your biology. It's just like, if there's a tree on you and you're rubbing it on you, you're going to feel particular things. It's just hormonal. It's just like, okay, cool. And it made sense. It was like, all right, yeah, that's so right. If a tree, if any inanimate object was rubbing me in that particular way, that would have happened regardless. So because he said that, it kind of made me feel light, kind of made me feel at ease. I was like, all right, cool. And then I started talking about it with other friends, and it's like, then they said something about like, you're not your thoughts, you're not your past, you're not whatever that way, right? And literally what happened is that I literally thought I was a pedophile for a while. I was like, oh my gosh, like what's happening to me? And what I've recognized is that it was like the mix of pornography and pickup. It was the mix of misinterpreted pickup concepts or rightly interpreted pickup concepts and pornography. And because of that, it's like I'm a trained machine to objectify people. And this behavior has almost become a habit. So in my healing and in my recovery, I have to learn to be able to not project objectification to people because of all these porn experiences and all this pickup experiences and all that I've had, right? And to not be tampered by this, you know? And to see that, to see how much I was so influenced by this. And yeah. And to be honest, I really don't know, you know? These are the only things that I know. I know that we are inherently the same as people, right? And the best way to help another person is to help yourself. So I believe that my self-awareness will potentially help another person that is going down a situation like that. And I hope this video saves them. I hope my self-awareness saves them. That is the only intent of this video. It's a topic that I've talked about before and deleted. And yeah. And I'm happy that I don't have a lot of emotions associated to it because I've talked about it before. And yeah, I really appreciate that. I really appreciate my growth and confidence. I really do. So anyways, I hope you guys learned something out of this video. And I hope you guys see that there were a lot of traps that I went to because of sex and lust and all that stuff. And to see how I almost believed and identified with being a pedophile. And I can kind of understand, it's like, okay, if I identified with that, right? If that experience gave me that identity, and I started believing in those thoughts that I was really that, if the energy of lust really was my identity, if that was truly me, and what would happen is that I will start almost acting in particular ways that align with that identity. Or I will be in this constant state of like, oh my gosh, no, not again. And it's just, it's sad because the lust thing affects me. It affects my day-to-day interactions and day-to-day behaviors. and it makes me perceive people in a way where I don't want that, but it automatically does it because it hasn't been healed yet. And yeah. And I want to share this to you guys because lust will hurt you in many ways. And yeah. Anyways, there's a lot of stories that I have truly that I truly want to be able to bring a message to lust because I haven't found any particular videos about it. And I haven't found a person that's truly in service for that. And this is my way of bringing to a topic that may be in the shadows and people haven't truly confronted because it is a hard topic to talk about. This is one of this is one of the hardest topics to even talk about. I'm doing this in my house where no one's home. You know what I mean? Because I can't speak about this with complete confidence around an average person. No. Like there's particular, it's like number one, you have to find an appropriate time to do that. Number two, it's like, holy shit, what the fuck are they gonna think after I say this kind of stuff? And you know, and it's one step at a time, one courageous step at a time, because the intention is service. The intention is to help others. And if I keep my intention pure, then I'll know what is the darkest areas in my life that haven't been spoken about. And it's okay. It's okay that you don't speak about it, but it's important. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. To anyone that is struggling with child molestation or situations like that, or just struggling with lust in general, this video is for you guys. The amount of agony that goes in our world is insane. And the best way for me personally, and not for you, I don't recommend that you guys even do this, but I don't even know why I don't recommend it, because it's just so hard for me, you know. You guys can, or it doesn't matter, but the intent. Anyways, I don't know. I really don't know. I hope this helps out someone, but truly, the intention is to help someone. But what's amazing is that in the process of helping someone, I'm learning so much more about myself. So I just want to thank you guys. I'm learning to be real. Yeah. And sometimes, like, especially when going up to strangers, don't do this, you know, don't say things like this, right? You have to be discerning when to say things like this. And sometimes sometimes people just aren't the space for you to even say this. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't be talking about this at a family event or anything like that. This is to those of you that need this kind of video to watch, you know? So, peace out.